Well, liberals, look like you're losing again. Donald Trump's on the world stage and getting it. Let's talk about it.
This South African farmer, which is the most blatantly obvious racist ever. It is blatantly obvious the way that we treat white South Africans, who are, by the way, for the most part, and I am generalizing here, some of the wealthiest people are well-to-do people in the country. They speak their language. They own most of the land and the property. And somehow they're being granted a fast track to become Americans.
Yes, I didn't know that Libras can be this mad. I've watched a series of videos and looking at how they are melting down, like President Trump is allowing these people to enter the United States. Some call them all sort of names. I don't know why they are so mad.
Good morning. This is for the South Africans who are going to be entering the United States. This is just a public service announcement. I just wanted to make you aware that the Black people who were students during apartheid, we're grandmas and grandpas now, and we have the ear of Gen Z. One more thing. I also want to let you know that our president, he has Secret Service. And you will not. I also want to tell you that Black people over here are empowered. These are just public service announcements. When you get here, sit your down and don't touch nothing. Because you don't have Secret Service. Okay. Now have the day you deserve.
This woman is sitting here putting out TikTok videos threatening these people. It is insane. I watched Don Lemon a few hours ago. I was shocked because the guy who has been preaching, supporting Democrat Biden throughout, like allowing people to enter was a good thing. Now there is a problem going on in this part of Africa. Trump looked into it like, oh, what can we do to resolve this? This was a solution. Libras don't want to see it. I don't want to go into full details. What I know is happening in South Africa, a big problem. People sitting here in front of cameras saying all sort of things that they don't even know get my attentions every single day.
Breaking news, guys. We literally live in a clown world. A Biden-Harris senior staffer supports taking land away from white South Africans. Listen to what she has to say.
And part of that is that the people who are native to that land deserve their rightful land back. That is not what the Afrikaners actually want to have happen, which are the white Africans. And so who are not originally from Africa, who colonized South Africa also. And so that is what they are saying is discrimination. Now, if the Constitution in South Africa is discriminatory, they have their checks and balances in that land, just like we do. And that is for them to, so if the Afrikaners don't actually like the land, they can leave that country.
They are. They're leaving to come here.
No. They can
These
leave
refugees
and go,
are coming here.
They can actually leave and go to where their native land is, which is probably Germany.
Are you against them coming here?
Holland, probably. Holland.
Yes, this right here is literally telling these white South Africans to go back to Germany, to quote unquote go back where they came from. But hasn't the left for the past 50 years said that if you were to say that to someone who came to the United States, you're racist? I mean, this is what literally the EFF leader in South Africa said about, if this racist had her way, he wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't even be here in America. Because what do these leftists constantly say? Us whites here are on stolen land. And they say anyone can be a refugee and anyone should be able to claim asylum. Our borders are open unless they're white. Even if a leader in South Africa is literally saying he's not white people, not now anyways. But if a leader was saying that about Jewish people, black people, any other kinds of people, the left would be losing their minds. But now all of a sudden they want to take a stand and say they're against this because of apartheid. This is the leftist playbook 101. These people are literally trying to decide an entire white race here. Because no matter what happens to a white kid or a white person in a different country or a white person in this country, these leftists will always bring up the past and say, well, this happened in the past, so this is going to give us justification for violence today. It's official. They just hate white people, period. And if you can't see that, you're blind.
I need y'all to realize what Trump just did. He brought 8,000 white people out here from South Africa. Not because they need refuge, not because they need asylum. It's because he knows these 8,000 white South African are racist. He knows they finna come over here and they gonna be blatantly racist thinking that they still in South Africa. But these 8,000 racists gonna find out the hard way. Around and find out. You can't talk that over here on our soil. So what's gonna happen is that these people are gonna start getting their ass whooped because they think it's okay to talk to us any old kind of way like they did out there in South Africa. Then we start looking because they don't know how to talk to black people in America. Oh, here comes another executive order. Here comes another executive order to protect white people, just like they do Asians, just like they do South Africans that were brought here to America are going to be talking. A lot of them going to get lumped up. Then the news going to spread. Oh my God, black people are hurting South Africans.
For me, I think one thing.
Yes, I really wish some of these people should be put into some of their shoes to understand exactly what is going on. At a certain point, when I see people ranting, talking as if they have even traveled to these locations, I really wonder because they don't even know. I'm an African. Yes, I'm not from South Africa, but I know exactly what is even going on there. Yeah, because I have been there. I know. When I see someone like this ranting, talking nonsense like this, it baffles me. If you want to put out the truth about this whole situation,
The wealthiest people are well-to-do people in the country. They speak their language. They own most of the land and the property. And somehow they're being granted a fast track to become Americans while they're trying to cut down on immigration from other countries. You get that from where? From the brown people. On March 7th, Trump took to Truth Social to announce he is offering white South African farmers, quote, a rapid pathway to U.S. citizenship, pointing out that South Africa's new land reform push signed into law last year, which lets the government take land without compensation if the property is not being used and there's no intention to either develop or make money from it. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you some context here. They're not just taking land away from white South African farmers. White South Africans, about 9% of the population, owned 87% of the fertile land. Okay? Today, black South Africans make up more than 90% of the population, and they only hold about 4% of all privately owned land. So what they're trying to do is say, hey, we need to fix an historical injustice and figure out if you're not using that land to farm, then we need to have some of that land, not taking all of your entire farm. That's not what's happening. And we need to what? There needs to be equity. And now people are crying because the playing field is being leveled. And so therefore it is now discrimination.
this same Don Lemon ranting here, I didn't see this energy when Joe was there. Don Lemon was doing clips back to back, supporting his idea of bringing in people. Trump came in, okay, if you are here, you've committed a crime, you are going back. He didn't choose or say, oh, only for black or only for every person. If you have committed a crime, no matter your skin color, that is what I've been seeing. Going on, you going. Now the way Don Lemon is speaking here is like Trump is not doing that. He promised to cut down immigration. Now he's bringing in people. The way you see things on social media, don't just make as if you're a king. You know all the information. That is how he's speaking here. Like he knows everything.
For me, I think one thing, having Kristi Noem be in charge of Homeland Security in and of itself is an insult. It's just an insult. And I think something that we're not talking about is what Donald Trump did on Monday is that the Trump administration allowed in 59 white South African refugees into this country, claiming that they were fleeing racial discrimination and land appropriation. So the South African president has been actively, denying that persecution. He says a refugee is someone who has to leave their country out of fear of political persecution, religious persecution, or economic persecution. They don't fit that bill. And so the fact that Afghan refugees, people who helped us during the Afghanistan war, helped us and protected our troops, that program has been dismissed. The fact that Haitians that are truly refugees, they have been denied protected status.
So what do you think is the bottom line, Sunny?
Well,
no, but I mean, for all of the attacks that the Trump administration at the time campaign made on the Biden administration over what I agree was a disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, we're once again betraying the Afghan people by saying if you're here under civ and you have a right as a refugee, you fought alongside us, we're sending you back to hell.
Yet we are
to daily beatings, a lack of basic freedoms. But it's a double betrayal.
Picking beefs with allies. It tracks with everything else he's doing.
That is their own point of view. Thank you guys for always being there sharing out my videos. God bless you abundantly. I don't want to make the video long. Reason I'm ending here. If you see any clip after this, know that is just for the YT algorithm.
Doge is nothing but a cover-up. Like, it's a scam, kind of like...
What's the cover-up for?
For, Elon Musk? I mean, like...
What's the cover-up for?
Well, because, like, they made it seem like they were here to do good, but this was really just a matter of a bad guy...
it should have been.
Right. Okay, so she's going, right? He is not qualified to speak on because he tried understanding what I just explained to be the law. Watch him try to pin down Trump. And Trump, I'm telling you, Trump is a clever mofo. Just when you think he's like focused on like the UFC and like his polls.
2028. Also the first 100 days. And, this is traditionally what they call...
It's not going to end. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Good.
If you see any clips after this, that is just for the YouTube algorithm.
What if he says self-defense?
There's no self-defense because kids in here and resolve this issue is called conflict resolution.
Again, the evidence is still coming in.
This is definitely a self-defense case because it always is one until you look at the facts.
Because she's fearful of what might happen to her.
Followers for anything. And then
Registration Act is
talking about this man,
My summary of the first 100 days is that
if film and TV productions continue to...
First term, and you will be very...
Somebody has to say it. So let me
Tell me a little bit about the kind